Welcome back to Movies TV Mad. Of course, you can follow me on Twitter at Movies TV Mad. And welcome to Friday's edition. It's the end of another week. I can't believe it. Welcome to Friday's edition of the dceu Daily. I am Mick. If you come here frequently, do you come here often? Anyway, if you come here frequently, you know my name is Mick, and I am the host with the most. But if you don't believe me, ask your girlfriends and your wives, because they are very, very impressed with me. So yes, welcome to Friday's edition of the dceu Daily. Now, I've got a little bit of a Green Lantern Corps HBO Max show update. So all week we've been hearing rumors about production dates, filming dates later this year. And, you know, it's been a bit weird, and I've been very suspicious that this is Toby Emmerich again, trying to paint an illusion of everything in the garden being rosy. So what we know is right now that they're apparently going to start filming at the fall or autumn, as us Europeans and us Brits know it, from about September time. But something very strange is happening, because this show was announced for a very long time ago. They've cast a lot of people for this show, but for some reason they've sent out another casting call. Rolo, are they casting more lanterns for the show? Let's take a look at Screen Rant. They're all over this. Green Lantern TV show may start filming later this year. May. Wow, that's definite, isn't it? A new casting call for HBO Max's Green Lantern TV show seemingly indicates the DC comic series may start filming later this year. Again, May. That's interesting, isn't it? Well, this is Warner Brothers, so there wouldn't be any foundations or any definite things. Anyway, this is by Grant Hermans of Screen Rant. A new casting call for HBO Max's Green Lantern TV show seemingly indicates the DC comic series may start filming later this year. The Green Lantern moniker is donned by a number of characters throughout DC's history, all of whom wield a ring, granting them with powers, allowing them to utilize their imagination to create weaponry and objects to aid them in protection of the galaxy. Hal Jordan has been the most notable and adapted of the Green Lantern characters over the years, alongside the likes of Guy Gardner, John Stewart, Kyle Rayner, Simon Baz, and Jessica Cruz. Jessica is my personal favorite, I'll be honest about that. Though receiving plenty of positive reviews for his animated appearances, Green Lantern's live-action works have been derided by critics, most notably that of Ryan Reynolds' starring 2011 movie. With the launch of the DC Extended Universe, Warner Brothers elected to try their hand at adapting the character once again with the long-gestating Green Lantern Corps movie and an HBO Max series featuring a number of different lanterns, with the main cast for the new Green Lantern show now assembled. It appears development is trucking along faster than some realize. Really? Okay then. A few years after development on the series was first announced, and they haven't even shot anything yet. Backstage has released a casting call for HBO Max's Green Lantern TV show. The posting calling for additional roles in the series also indicates that the DC Comics project is expected to begin filming in Los Angeles later this year. Screen Rant reached out to HBO Max representatives for comment and initially received no response, though they have since confirmed this filmation isn't current and they don't have an update for production timing. Wow. Well done, Screen Rant. I mock you a lot, but at least you don't have pop-ups and at least you're reliable. Wow. Just think about this for a minute. Let me reread this, because this is brilliant, because all you lot, right, are going around with your boners, right? With your boners, right? It's happening, Mick. You were wrong, Mick. It looks like I was right all the time. What if it's the same thing for the Amanda Waller series as well? So let's read this again. So HBO Max's Green Lantern TV show, the posting calling for additional roles in the series also indicates that the DC Comics project is expected to begin filming in Los Angeles later this year. Screen Rant reached out to HBO Max representatives for comment and initially received no response, though they have since confirmed this filming information isn't current and they don't have an update for the production timing. So not only is the casting call an old casting call, which would be irrelevant now, they have no information or updates when they'll be shooting this production, if ever. Wait a minute, there's more on this article. Villagers getting excited and saying FWB, right, fair enough. Villager also, hi Mick, I just watched Doctor Strange 2 and it was mediocre, told ya. Amazing cinematography, yep, told ya, but they literally make the movie about Wanda, not even about Strange himself. Well, actually, there's something very current and relevant with Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness in terms of Amber Heard versus Johnny and the character you just named yourself. Because basically, without being too deep into spoilers, Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness has a female being murderous and doing horrible abuses to people. And then by the end of the film, I'm all good now. Can I be forgiven? That's all right. I'm a woman. I can be excused. Very, very relevant with the Amber Heard situation. And this is extreme left Hollywood, isn't it? That women have always got an excuse because I read The Darkhold, right? So it ain't my fault, governor. I shouldn't get punished. I shouldn't have any character consequences. That's the problem. It's not a good movie. Yes, great cinematography. Well, good cinematography. And at the end of the day, good cinematography is something you should expect. It doesn't make it a great movie. Villager, I don't think that Amanda Waller show will happen. Why hasn't James Gunn talked about it? Exactly. And he's supposed to be a producer on it. Yeah. It's all bullshit. This is Toby reacting to that, Warner Brothers Discovery cancelling Wonder Twins. They're trying to show everyone that everything's all right. Because on May 18th, when we get the Warner Brothers Discovery up front, well, it's all going to hit the fans. Let's continue. A few years after development on the series was first announced, Backstage has released a casting call for HBO Max's Green Lantern TV show. The posting calling for additional roles in the series also indicates that the DC Comics project is expected to begin filming in Los Angeles later this year. Screen Rant reached out to HBO Max. Sorry, I'm repeating it again, but I'm on the same bit. Anyway, representatives for comment initially received no response, though they have since confirmed this filming information isn't current and they don't have an update for production timing. It's always great to reread this company's, they're just useless. They really are. They're incompetent. So it's always great to reread their incompetence. Anyway, we go on. The casting call indicating the Green Lantern TV show may begin filming later this year would line up with star Finn Wittrock's recent comments in which he stated he's already received at least one script for the series and is starting to get into Guy Gardner's shape. By the way, he said this about 3 or 4 months ago. The American Horror Story star is one of the various Lanterns confirmed for the HBO Max show alongside Jeremy Irvine as Alan Scott. Though interestingly, the stars behind Jessica Cruz and Simon Bass have yet to be revealed. Should reports of the Green Lantern TV show filming schedule prove to be true, it seems likely that the casting announcements for the other Lanterns would be coming soon. But let's be clear, Screen Rant, you're going off on a tangent now because you just told us that you were told by HBO Max that those casting calls are old casting calls and they have no production dates. So you're just going off of rumors and innuendos. It's a joke. How can you do an article, right, where you actually do your due diligence and check what's going on? And you've told us there's no production dates and the casting calls are old casting calls. This is nothing. Nothing's going on with this series and you know it. Given the poor reception to the Ryan Reynolds movie, anticipation for the Green Lantern TV show remains mixed amongst audiences. That's not true. It actually sounds like a very ambitious project if it ever happens, especially with Arrowverse developer Greg Berlanti and the film's co-writer Mark Guggenheim behind the show, along with Abraham Lincoln Vampire Hunters Seth Grahame-Smith. Additionally, given the uncertainty of whether the HBO Max series is set within the DCEU and how it connects to the scrapped appearance of Wayne T. Carr's Jon Stewart in Zack Snyder's Justice League. Well, I can tell you that. It has no connection to what Wayne did in Zack Snyder's Justice League. Many find themselves wanting a variety of questions answered before putting their faith behind the project. However, with the teasers that the Green Lantern TV show is taking a tonally dark approach akin to HBO's acclaimed Watchmen adaptation, one can hope they've learned the lesson of their past failures with the character well. I don't mind dark approaches. I welcome dark approaches. But let's go back. Because Screen Rant are kind of double tapping themselves, right? You've just exposed this as fake news. And then you're saying, well, if this is true, you're basically saying this is nothing, that nothing's going on here. Am I mad? Did I just read this? Let's just have a look at this. Let's read some comments first. Villager, I don't want to keep talking about MCU, but now that Doctor Strange 2 is getting mixed reviews, I'm expecting some PR stunt from Feige to distract people. Yeah, they're already lying about racism to American Chavez as a distraction, and obviously, apparently, he's not happy about all the trailers that were put out, even though he is the hands-on president of Marvel Studios. Abraham Herrera, just watch Multiverse of Madness 2. It was on YouTube. Wonder killing everybody. No, Abraham. Don't post spoilers, mate. Jesus Christ. It was on great visuals, fairly entertaining, but I will forget it tomorrow. Rolo, they introduced iconic characters in Doctor Strange just to have them. Yeah, again, that's too spoilery, my friend. Can we be respectful of everybody in the world who basically hasn't seen this film yet? Right? Okay, please. So I know what you're saying about the film. It's absolutely flawed. I just explained that about the Wanda situation. It's bad. And yeah, they're just saying that women can do whatever they want and get away with it. But when they make a Joker movie about a mentally ill man who's looking after his mother and trying to become a comedian, they're just making excuses. Toxic incels, right? It's always different when it's a man, and they made up all this shit about people being in danger when they were going to go and see the movie because SJWs didn't want people seeing that movie. As I say, the female gender, I've renamed the female gender the cake and eat it gender. Villager, I saw that thing about racism towards America Chavez. I've seen no racism towards her online. It's really just fake news. It is. Yeah, I haven't seen anything either, to be fair. Villager, you are exposing WB for their lies. Meanwhile, I bring up how weird everything has been lately to DC fans, and they insult me. This is the same fan base that hates WB, but when I question them, they insult Villager me. Well, Villager, you're here amongst friends today, and every time you're on here, and you can obviously, within general, stop posting really big spoilers for movies. But yeah, you're free to air your opinions here, and I will give you my opinions. This is an opinion-based platform. Right. I do like to look at things factually. So let's go back to the top of this. So I want to go back to this. So where are we? But representative, right. Screen Rant reached out to HBO Max representatives for comment and initially received no response. Though they have since confirmed this filming information isn't current. Isn't current, right? Think about that for a minute. It isn't current. I'll keep on repeating it. And they don't have an update for production timing. So they don't actually confirm that this thing is going to start filming later this year. And they say the casting call, right, is old. So that means none of this is current. None of this is relevant. Nothing's going forward because Discovery are probably deciding whether to axe it or not. Now, Screen Rant, after all this, start going back on themselves and saying, well, if it is true, blah, blah, blah. You've just said that they've told you that this is not a current casting call and they have no production dates. It looks to me that all this stuff was leaked out on purpose, and that kind of tells me that Discovery are about to cancel this show. And this is Toby Emmerich and Walter Hamada leaking stuff to try and bring some popularity with the public, with the consumer, with fans, to make it more difficult for Zaslav and Discovery to cancel it. This is going to get cancelled. I don't know what Screen Rant are talking about afterwards, but they've just exposed it. That there's nothing going on. It's done. It is not happening at this moment in time. That's kind of a shame because it sounds very ambitious and exciting. That's probably why they won't do it. Now, the creatives in charge of this, let's just say, have kind of mixed kind of responses with other DC stuff they've had. So Mark Guggenheim was heavily involved with early Arrowverse. Arrow, for example, that was great. So he did some good things, but then you've got Greg Berlanti, who, you know, has run the entire, basically Arrowverse is his. He's done some good things and not so good things with Arrowverse. So you can't really trust him. And then you've got that, Frankenstein vampire hunter guy. I wouldn't trust him either. But it looks like from the outside looking in that this thing actually isn't going to happen. And as I say, all the stuff you've been hearing this week, is bullshit about even the Misha Green, Black Canary things. It's all being done on purpose. No official things being said, but little leaks here or there to try and make you think that everything in the garden is rosy. We already know. These are the facts that you need to know. That David Zaslav and Warner Brothers Discovery are going to overhaul DC live action. You don't know what that means. I don't know what the fuck that means, but it does mean big change is coming. And look, even when they talk about this, nobody knows if this is part of the DCEU or a brand new universe. And then we go back to the whole fact that they didn't allow Wayne T. Carr's Jon Stewart in Zack Snyder's Justice League Snyder Cut because they were developing a movie of their own. Where is it? I mean, it's so bad. They should have allowed that to happen. This is how toxic Warner Brothers Pictures are. And they always get paid back for their toxicity because now they don't have production dates. Those casting calls are old casting calls. Basically, nothing is happening with their Green Lantern Corps TV show. And they're the facts, my friends. It's more embarrassment for the DCEU and this horrible, horrible, incompetent studio. Abraham Herrera, Mick, remember how Strange was supposed to be in WandaVision, but they decided not to because Benedict might overshadow Elizabeth? Guess what happens in Doctor Strange? Yes, it's ironic, isn't it? Exactly. It's ironic what they did with her. And basically, yes, everyone knows she is the star of the movie. But what she does in this movie, right, because I'm not so sure making her what they made her in this film was the best of ideas, but they make it worse than that. They say, my fault, Governor. I read this dodgy book, and it made me do bad things. Is it okay? I'm a woman, right? I can get away with it. No! You literally went through a murderous rampage. It's exactly what they did with WandaVision at the end when Maria Rambeau was trying to make excuses for her, right? They're trying to justify horrible behavior. And if it was a man doing it, they wouldn't be doing the same thing. In fact, they'd be on a Hollywood Reporter Power of Women's roundtable saying how this proves how bad men are. Vinegar, do you think Peacemaker Season 2 will even happen? Well, it's been announced. So at this moment in time, it's happening. But things are changing all the time, Villager. I don't know. At the moment, it's happening. I would expect them to keep faith with James Gunn. But who knows? Who knows? It's an ever-changing situation. And until we get some clarity, nobody knows what's going and what's staying. And they're the facts. Villager, well, if David is changing things, can he please stop the weird PR tactics WB keep doing and the fake arse leaks? You're right. He has no control. Nobody has ever had any control over Toby Emmerich. This is what he does. This is like the Frosty thing I explained the other day. And now they've announced another Jason Momoa project. Apparently they outbid everyone for it. He's already on your books anyway, right? Let's see if that's even happening. It's crazy. Villager Wanda's storyline would have been nice if she was made to be an anti-hero in her own movie, but this was not her movie. It was about Doctor Strange. Well, really, it wasn't about Doctor Strange, was it? That's the whole point. So you've got a mid-movie, right, that basically has a greatest hits, has cameos, some cool cameos, some boring ones, and doesn't really do much within the movie. It is, as I said to you before you all saw it, and I saw it, it's not a film. You just go back and watch Iron Man 2008, which is an old-fashioned type movie. It has, it has 3 acts. It has character evolution. It works. They don't really worry about the evolution of the rest of the universe, but they do have Coulson showing up, which is enough, world building. It works. And we get that post-credit scene at the end of Iron Man with Nick Fury. It's all very cool, but they focus on Iron Man, on Tony Stark. It works so well. Really, ever since that, it hasn't been the same. That's a shame. Although I will give, a shout out to Captain America, the First Avenger, Captain America 2, the Winter Soldier, even the first 4. Even Thor, Love and Thunder, at least it tries to be a film. They're not films anymore. It's the cameo Easter egg experience, but it works for them. They make money. But I'll tell you what's very, very interesting about this. Yes, the opening weekend will be huge, but will they get a big drop-off in the second weekend? I think they will. Abraham Herrera, but the biggest problem is that you have to watch the Disney Plus shows to understand the movie. Basically, it's a commercial for Disney Plus. That's what it is. It's a commercial for What If, which is literally an animated series. Some people may say that's really ambitious and really cool. It depends what side of the fence you're on. But that fan casting cameo they did actually shows the good side of Feige and the MCU. They actually listened to their fans and they gave their fans something in a movie. Now that person, whatever happens to that person happens, as we know, but at least they gave them something that they wanted. This is something the DCEU never do. We never get what we want. Nothing, not even a little thing. Feige, even when he goes all identity politics, is still giving fans something that they've been screaming for a long time. So I give him a thumbs up for that. Villager, the timeline is too confusing at this point. Eternals and Shang-Chi had like 4 after credits, and they seem to be 2 different storylines. How the hell are we supposed to keep up? Well, I suppose not everyone can keep up, but the mainstream audience can keep up and it's making money for them. What can I say? We'll have to wait and see. It's certainly not the universe it was a few years ago. It's not really my bag. Shang-Chi didn't really make the money. The others did. It was during the pandemic, of course. So we'll see how he does. I don't think Shang-Chi was a terrible movie, but I certainly get your gripes, Villager, with this franchise. Abraham Herrera, well, we got the Snyder Cut, but we had to fight for it for 2 years. Yeah, a very different situation. But yeah, you only got it because they wanted to launch their, they didn't have a plan. They didn't have a launch pad for HBO Max, so they needed a film they were denying to save them. The irony of that isn't lost on me, Villager. I'm hoping Blue Beetle will be a great movie. I hope it doesn't get cancelled. Well, apparently they started production. I haven't heard anything since. It's messy. It's incompetence of the highest level. They know that a lot of their stuff is getting cancelled. Their plans are being derailed, and they're just trying to put stuff out there hoping that you can save the day for them. But you can't, because it looks like Zaslav and Discovery have a long-term plan, and the multiverse strategy isn't part of that plan. But keep it here on Movies TV Mad. I'll keep you updated as things drop. On to the next article. We now focus on the Flash TV show. The Flash Season 8 Episode 14 trailer previews fallout of spoiler death. The trailer for The Flash Season 8 Episode 14, Funeral for a Friend, says goodbye to one of the team's Flash's long-time members following their death, by Andy, whose surname I can't pronounce. This article is very spoilery for The Flash, so if you don't want to be spoiled, you may have to look away now. The trailer for The Flash Season 8, Episode 14, Funeral for a Friend, previews the fallout of Team Flash's latest casualty. The latest big bad, Deathstorm, made it clear that the ongoing storyline would come with some heartbreaking conclusions. While The Flash Season 2 featured Deathstorm from Earth 2, the DC drama was able to do a more comic-accurate iteration in Season 8, while also putting Team Flash against a tougher challenge throughout the arc. Deathstorm put the team through trauma as they got haunted by the loss of their loved ones. After teasing for weeks that there would be a major death in The Flash Season 8, it came to fruition in Episode 13, Death Falls, while becoming the anti-Deathstorm, or Hell Frost, as the show nicknamed her. Frost took down Deathstorm once and for all. However, it came with a massive price as Frost passes away at the end of the episode, leaving the team heartbroken. Death Falls may have been the end of Deathstorm, but the next week's installment will serve as another heavy chapter for The Flash Season 8. Following the airing of Death Falls, the CW has released a trailer for The Flash Season 8, Episode 14, which is called Funeral for a Friend. The footage follows Team Flash after Frost passing as they try to deal with the loss of another team member. Amidst the emotions, there are glimpses of a bomber that is going to be their villain of the week. Check out the trailer below. We can't do that for copyright reasons. Funeral for a Death, which was written by Jeff Hirsch, with story by Jonathan Butler and Gabriel Garza, and directed by Vanessa Paris, has been teased for a few months, even before the actual death was confirmed. Back in February, the Flash star Candice Patton had shared on Instagram that they had shot an episode where she was in a funeral attire, which raised a lot of speculation on who may bite the dust. Showrunner Eric Wallace had also made it clear that Deathstorm's actions would change Team Flash forever. Yeah, I did wonder what he was talking about there. I thought, well, this is the Arrowverse. There'll be no consequences, right? While Frost is no more, Daniel Panabaker will continue to be on The Flash as Caitlin Snow. So let me get this straight. They killed off Frost, but they kept Caitlin. So basically, there's zero consequences here, isn't there? As usual with these shows. The role she has played the longest in the Arrowverse with the Deathstorm arc concluded. It remains to be seen who will be Team Flash's next threat. Since there are still 7 more episodes of The Flash Season 8, they are going to get to the next big bad sooner rather than later, before The Flash Season 8 finale, which airs on June the 29th. Until then, The Flash will deal with Frost's death in what looks to be a very emotionally charged episode next week. The problem is, you've killed off Frost. Who the fuck cares? Caitlin's still there. Caitlin's the character we've been following since the pilot episode. It's irrelevant that you've killed Frost, because basically you've still got Caitlin Snow there. So it's all irrelevant. It doesn't matter. It's zero consequences. It's pointless. We continue with The Flash as we talk to the actress Danielle Panabaker. Now, that's not me talking to her. I wish I could. She's awesome. But this is an interview with Screen Rant. So let's look at the comments. Villager Blue Beetle has already a huge cast, including George Lopez and famous Latin American actors. I think they will keep it because it has huge potential. Latin Americans very proud and will watch Blue Beetle. They've cast it, yep. They also cast Wonder Twins, and you saw what happened there. Nothing is sure. Nothing is for certain in this industry. Never make assumptions. Now, I will say right now, they've cast. They're apparently in production. I can't say it's not going to happen. But I certainly wouldn't arrogantly say there's no way they'll can this movie, because clearly they are ruthless and they're looking to restructure this studio and DC live action. Villager Barry's suit in the Flash show looks like it came from a Halloween costume store. Bat Super, good morning, Mick. Good morning, Bat Super. Abraham Herrera. George Lopez isn't really Latino, Villager. That guy can't eat a taco with salsa, Roger. And I hate when they hire actors who can't speak proper Spanish. A Villager, I'm pretty sure George is fluent in Spanish. I couldn't care less if he's fluent in Greek Cypriot, my language. As long as he's a good actor and he can pretend to be the things they need him to be. Yes, propaganda merchants, acting is about make-believe and pretending. He doesn't have to be a real Latin person. As long as he represents and portrays a real Latin person, that's what make-believe is all about. Do you remember make-believe? Do you remember that? Yeah? Okay then. End of debate. Right. The Flash Caitlin Snow actor hopes to return for season 9. The Flash star Daniel Pan Baker is hopeful about Caitlin Snow returning for the CW drama season 9, which aired in the 2022-2023 TV season, again by Andy, whose surname I can't pronounce. Daniel Pan Baker, who portrays Caitlin Snow and Killer Frost on The Flash, is hoping to be back for the show's season 9. The Arrowverse is turning a decade old as of this October, as Arrow premiered on the CW back in 2012, which helped kick off the popular DC franchise. One of the CW's most successful shows is The Flash, which will be surpassing Arrow's record after its season 8 finale airs in late June. Very little details have emerged about Flash season 9, as the DC drama was only renewed 2 months ago. Throughout the Arrowverse's existence, it's common for some of the shows to lose long-time cast members throughout their run. In the Flash's case, the Arrow spin-off lost Carlos Valdez and Tom Cavanagh, yet because they woke up and felt their careers dwindling, as Cisco Ramon and Harrison Wells reversed Flash, respectively. After season 7, however, Cavanagh has returned in the Flash season 8, as Eobard Thawne didn't work for me, by the way, this time, serving as the big bad of the 5-part Armageddon event. Like Valdez and Cavanagh, Pan Baker has been with The Flash since the very beginning. However, it looks like Pan Baker's The Flash season 9 status may be up in the air. In a new interview with TV Line, Pan Baker talked about whether or not she's involved with The Flash season 9. The actor stated that she's hopeful of returning for the next season for the series. While Pan Baker didn't reveal too many specifics, she admitted that the CW picking up The Flash for season 9 was a surprise, so she was expecting it to be canned. Even she thinks it's shit. Even though she's thrilled that the DC drama is continuing for another year, Pan Baker shared the following in terms of her future with The Flash. I hope to be back. I will say that I was very surprised to see that there was another season ordered. I think that emotionally, I at least was planning for season 8 to be our last. But I'm grateful to the show and to the fans, and hopefully there's more story to be told. Should I tell you this is echoes of an actor saying, for fuck's sake, I didn't want this show to be renewed because I'm contracted automatically and I have to come back. And I want to leave this character in the show behind. I'm grateful to it. But for fuck's sake, why did you renew it? I want to do new things. And I think that's the thing I get from this quote. It's worth noting that in 2021, Pan Baker, along with Jess L. Martin and Candice Pan, who played Joe West and Iris West respectively, signed new deals ahead of The Flash season 8. Until the announcement in 2022 that Martin exiting The Flash ahead of season 9, it was unknown if the actors' contracts were only for one season. Yes, that's what she's talking about. That's why she thought it was ending. During their reports about Martin's departure, it was specified that Pan and Pan Baker were in negotiations to return for The Flash season 9. Given that contract negotiations are something that many actors, studios, and networks rarely discuss in public, Pan Baker's latest statement could be her way of subtly saying that she and the network are still in talks. Aside from Grant Gustin's titular hero, Brandon McKnight's Chester P. Runk is currently the only confirmed cast member to be attached. If Pan Baker does sign on again as a series regular for The Flash season 9, she will be playing one character less. In The Flash season 8, episode 13, Death Falls, the Deathstorm storyline ended with Frost sacrificing herself to stop the supervillain. Given this major development, with only a few episodes remaining of The Flash season 8, time will tell if Pan Baker will indeed return in season 9. I'll say what I said earlier reading the other article. It's a non-death. It's irrelevant because they've still got Caitlin. There's no sacrifices made here. Nobody's going to care. This is typical Arrowverse and typical modern day zero consequences storytelling. I hate zero consequences storytelling, and it's everywhere these days, especially involving female characters. Right, let's look at the comments. Bat Super, the Hamadaverse is like a wrench in the machinery, but I have faith in WBDs. That's love means business. You know what I would do by now? I would cancel everything and start again with a brand new team, brand new Justice League, and that's how I would launch it out. That's what I would do. Look, whether you're talking Snyderverse or Hamadaverse, it's all got to go. Sorry. Abraham Herrera, I watched the finale just because I respect Grant, but I'm not excited. Not as excited as I was for Smallville's last season. Yeah, because there was a hero's journey. There was a story of him becoming Superman. He learned lessons. It was great. Abraham. And my final article I'm going to read today is an interesting one. It's about a VFX supervisor or a VFX person's mission to restore Superman 4, The Quest for Peace. Now, I think the lad's name is Aaron Lewis. I do follow him on Twitter if you want to follow him. Very interesting guy. He's always updating on his YouTube the little bits of work he's done with Superman 4, The Quest for Peace. I personally think there's actually a good movie there if they'd release the Fury cut, because it was going to be a great movie. Then they removed the budget. And that's a shame for Christopher Reeve, who had the vision of pretty much having the commentary in Superman 4, The Quest for Peace about nuclear disarmament. And it's a shame he was betrayed. That movie still has a special place in my heart. Let's have a look what Aaron Lewis has got to say. Sorry, his name isn't Aaron Lewis. If you're watching Aaron, because I think you do follow me on Twitter, it's Aaron Price. I am shit with names. Sometimes I don't even know my name. Anyway, Aaron Price interview, Superman 4, The Quest for Peace, fan edit. We speak to editor Aaron Price, who's creating a fan edit of Superman 4, The Quest for Peace. That gives the maligned movie a major makeover by Brad Curran of Screen Rant. Superman 4, The Quest for Peace is generally seen as the nadir of Superman movies, but video editor Aaron Price sees potential in the movie for it to be realised as it was intended. The Quest for Peace was the full Superman movie for Christopher Reeve and was meant to show the Man of Steel tackling the Cold War and nuclear arms race between the United States and Soviet Union. Unfortunately, The Quest for Peace encountered major production problems with its distributor Canon Film Group drastically cutting its budget. Yep, it was a tragedy. In addition, some 45 minutes of footage was removed from The Quest for Peace, and all of the movie's problems led to its downfall and the end of Christopher Reeve's Superman series. However, Aaron Price believes there's potential to re-edit The Quest for Peace and polish up its visual effects to a higher standard, which he is in the process of doing with his fan edit of the film, which can be seen on Price's YouTube channel. Additionally, Price has petitioned Warner Brothers to release the 45 minutes of deleted footage of The Quest for Peace to him in order to be refurbished and reintegrated back into the movie. Imagine this lad is saying, I'll do this fucking shit for free. It's a passion. And they won't let him do it. It's free. At least have a look privately what kind of cut he would make of this movie. I think it would be great. And I back Aaron Lewis. Screen Rant spoke to Aaron. Sorry, again I said Aaron Lewis. I'm sorry, Aaron. Screen Rant spoke to Aaron Price in his fan edit of Superman 4, The Quest for Peace, how it came about, and why he feels the much maligned movie has the potential for a second chance. Screen Rant, you're clearly a big Superman fan. How did you first come to be enamored with the character of Superman? Aaron Price, I first got into Superman as a character when I was about 5 years old. My earliest memory is probably Superman 4 that I remember watching at the time when I was 5 years old. And that was my first experience with Christopher Reeve in the role. I read the comic books as a kid growing up. He's always the top dog, and Chris was always great in the role. I loved all the Superman films. Superman 2 was my favorite as a kid. As I got older, Superman the movie has taken that place. Whereas with Superman 4, I see it as a film that's got a lot of potential. And moving off of that, when did you decide that let me say that again. And moving off that, when did you decide that what you're currently doing with Superman 4 is something you wanted to take on with your fan restoration? Aaron Price, it started a couple of years ago. I got some very good friends here in the UK, and one has done a lot on Superman 4 with regards to information on that extended cut of the film. I started off by just doing a colour correction of all the flying shots of Christopher Reeve and Margot Kidder, and somebody had talked about the underground sequence and how anyone from the UK could see it was the London Underground and not New York. I must admit, I didn't realise that. That's how much notice I take of these things. I started off as a color correction. It started off as a color correction, and then I decided there was a potential here to see if I could do something with the footage and make it look more like New York rather than London. So I started off looking for stock footage, but it was too expensive. So then I went the route of 3D, and I actually built a subway in 3D. Wow, that's amazing, isn't it? I got quite a way into it because I thought, well, if you're doing it in 3D, I could move the camera exactly where I want it in the scene to match the actual footage. But as I started rendering it out, I realized it looked a bit too clean, too digitalized, and I thought, well, I need to go back to using stock footage, and I found a website where you pay a subscription for a month and you can use as many clips as you want. I found some subway sequence footage, and I didn't know at the time that the subway I used was Christopher Street Station, which was a bit weird. I made it a rotoscope sequence and tried to make it very similar to how it was originally in the script, with Suman dodging trains and flying through the tunnels, and I had a great response to it. When I finished it, I had this bug to start doing other scenes, and I thought maybe I can fix this. Maybe I can make this a little better, and I tried to improve the film's visual finesse or make it a little bit more presentable. I think the potential to maybe see this get an extended edition with these effects improved would be immensely great for the film, because obviously it suffered terribly in the budget. Superman 4 was a big victim of circumstance and budget cuts. You've really done an impressive job with clips you've released on your YouTube channel, such as Superman repairing the Great Wall of China and the defeat of Nuclear Man. How much later in life did you read about what happened to the film, and how did that play into your decision to try to finish what was started? Aaron Price, good question. I think it started about when they released the Christopher Reeve Superman films on DVD, and they released all of the deleted footage. Up to that point, we thought all that footage no longer existed. A lot of people didn't even know this different version of the film existed, that there was a Nuclear Man 1. Certain scenes in Superman 4, like when Nuclear Man says, "Where is the woman?" and Superman says, "Give it up," you'll never find her. And it's like he shouldn't know who Nuclear Man's talking about, because there was this deleted footage where the first Nuclear Man meets Lacey in the Metro Club sequence. And later on, when he's upgraded to the second Nuclear Man, he remembers her and takes her from the Daily Planet. And there's this fight between Superman and Nuclear Man. Yeah, let me interrupt there. That's very interesting. I didn't know that. But in fact, there's this kind of Frankenstein, dopey, weird, bizarro kind of Nuclear Man. It's kind of a failed experiment from Lex, and he goes around and it plays this like clumsy kind of music. So then they do the Nuclear Man we see, but he still remembers Lacey. I think that's really good, and that will be interesting. Superman and Nuclear Man, it kind of goes into that scene where he asks where the woman is, and it all makes sense. There's a lot of loopholes and a lot of stories lost in the cut version. That's interesting. That a few years ago, I just sort of said, there's this potential here. I remember somebody told me something like, I wouldn't even bother because it's a bad movie. My father used to work in the film industry, and even he said it was a terrible film visually. Story-wise, it had a great story. I agree. But obviously, it suffered on the visual effects. So I started doing color correction and rotoscoping of the subway sequence and the Great Wall of China. It was actually a Hot Toy Superman figure I used for that. Wow, I got my friend Martin to photograph his Hot Toy Superman figure on a piece of paper flat out, and I cut it out and basically animated it. It was a bit of a motion blur, which they probably would have done it similarly had they had a bit more of a budget to do it in '87. But yeah, that's pretty much how it started, and it's just taken off from here. What's been the biggest challenge for you as far as the technical aspects for your fan edit of Superman 4? Aaron Price, probably the rotoscoping, because obviously not having access to the original elements, anytime you want to do any sort of color correction on the things like flying stuff, you have to rotoscope, which is basically tracing around the elements and the actors. And you have to create a rotoscope basically frame by frame and isolate it from the background. And that's when you can basically do the color correction and make the background look better. The rotoscoping is definitely the biggest challenge because it's so time consuming. You think about it's 24 frames per second that you're working on. Wow. So you have to make sure that rotoscope is clear frame by frame so it doesn't look too jaggy or messy throughout the scene. I use a tool called Rotobrush, which will basically calculate the color of the edge and all of that. And it does take some of the pain out of the modernized rotoscoping, where in the old days you would have to do a number of points around the object and then move each point frame by frame, and it would take forever. So it does improve it and make it a lot easier. You also mentioned in one video that YouTuber Oliver Harper, by the way, you should follow Oliver Harper if you love 80s movies, 90s movies, action movies. He's even done a documentary called The Last Action Heroes. I bought it on Amazon Prime. You should definitely follow Oliver. He's great. He does reviews. He does lots of things. And he knows a lot about film. Has also contributed in some ways to your fan edit of Superman 4. Could you explain what his role has been? Aaron Price. Well, I'm friends with Oliver on Facebook, and I actually used a couple of edit shots from his trailer for my little montage. Basically, I didn't use his clips, but I used edits that were very similar. And in return, he used my Superman 4 animation logo, which was a recreation of the original trailer. He used that in the upgraded version of the UK trailer for Superman 4 at the time, which you can see on his YouTube channel. He's a great guy. He is a great guy, Oliver, and he does some fantastic retro documentaries. He's amazing, and he's very, very professional. He's a great guy. What I love about Oliver, and this is why I follow people like Oliver and Aaron, is because these are people who love film. Oliver is right. The story of Superman 4 is great. It's the garnish, it's the visual effects that let the film down and what they cut out. You mentioned Superman 4 having a lot of potential with the footage that survived. As far as the version that's been released, what stood out that made you realize it was really truncated and could be restored to what it was intended to be? Aaron Price, I think it was that Superman 4 is like a painted canvas that's had a few coats of paint, but it hasn't been finished off, and that's the way I see Superman 4. Fans lobbied for the Richard Donner cut of Superman 2, which when you look back now is sort of a bit rough in ways, and it probably could have do with an upgrade as well. But with Superman 4, you've got a film that no one's ever seen outside of the screener. It's never been seen in the full uncut version. Thankfully, we live in a day and age now where new cuts are becoming more popular with fans. You've got the Snyder cut of Justice League, and then a few years ago, the Warner Archive had brought out the 3-hour cut of Superman, the movie which had done very well when it was released on Blu-ray. I think with Superman 4, the same thing with Superman 2 and Superman 3, having extended cuts of these films would be absolutely brilliant for the fans. And I think it would be a massive moneymaker for Warner Brothers and Warner Archives and HBO Max to actually bring these out in their full uncut versions of the films. You know why? I think this is a great idea. It would bring a new appreciation for those films and Chris's performance as Superman, which is still celebrated today. And whatever Superman you like, if you had a vote, not here, but amongst all Superman fans, Christopher Reeve would still be the GOAT. The examples you cite there of Superman 2 and the Richard Donner cut and Zack Snyder's Justice League are kind of the go-to examples as far as what you've done so far with Superman 4. You mentioned in one of your videos that you received some response from Christopher Reeve's family. Could you share the story behind that? Aaron Price, yes. Matt Reeve, he sent me a personal response, not that Matt. That's Matt Reeves. This is Matt Reeve. Matt Reeve, he sent me a personal response on Twitter to one of my videos that he loved what I was doing. He said it was super impressive work, pun intended, and he asked what software I use and if there was really a version of the film that's salvageable. And it's sort of a taboo topic in their household. I'm going to cry. I'm going to cry. This is Christopher Reeve's son. He knew his dad was betrayed with Superman 4. So they don't talk about it in their home. So he's got in touch with Aaron in the hope that somehow he can restore the movie and they can see their father's, proper vision of Superman 4. You can imagine being Chris's son and wanting to see that. So that is very emotional, and that's great. This is a lot of stuff here that I didn't know. As I say, I've been following Aaron for a very long time and his work. I've gone on his YouTube channel. He's great, but this is really emotional, and I appreciate this. It was actually a bit emotional, actually, when I got that response, because for me, obviously, Chris is no longer around, and I would love for Christopher Reeve to have seen work I was doing. Chris had always said the less said about Superman 4, the better at the time. And I think it would have been nice for him to have been able to see fans out there still loving these films. And there is that nostalgic part of Superman 4 as well. Obviously, it's bad, but it has its good points. Christopher Reeve, Gene Hackman, and Margot Kidder, you have all the original cast, but the flying effects were the biggest letdown because it was the only Superman film that didn't use front projection. It relied too heavily on blue screen. Yeah, and that's obvious when you see the film, which sadly, from a visual effects point of view, was only really used for shots where you fly towards the camera or backing away. It was never designed to be used for long shots where you have the actors up in the air. And the color correction was never done, which made it even worse, I felt, as well. And 45 minutes of footage removed, which is just so hard to fathom. Aaron Price, yeah, it's madness to think that so much footage was taken out. There's certain sequences of the deleted footage that do make you cringe a little bit. You've got the first nuclear man, he's got that metal dish over his private area, and he goes da-da. But at the same time, it makes sense because he's supposed to be like a child. I think some of the reason they cut a lot of that footage out was some of the visual effects were not completed. And the deleted very final and shot with Superman and Jeremy in space, where he flies him over to Earth and says, "Tell me what you see, Jeremy." But he's not wearing a spacesuit. It's a crazy scene. But if Warner Brothers were to give me that footage, what I would do is I would rent a spacesuit, use either a kid or myself, put me on green screen, film me doing the same motions, and overlay that over Jeremy, and make it look like he's actually in a spacesuit, as it was done in the comic book version of it. Wow, wouldn't that be awesome? You did something similar to that with Lacey when Nuclear Man takes her. You changed that to where they're still on Earth when Superman moves the moon and Nuclear Man falls into the ocean, with your big goal being for Warner Brothers to allow you to polish up and regenerate the 45 minutes of deleted footage. There been any response from them at all? Aaron Price, nothing, laughs. I've had a couple of copyright strikes, but no actual removal of my videos. I think it's just the algorithms of YouTube, but it hasn't actually stopped any of my videos being shown. In terms of Warner Brothers, but I have spoken to someone who apparently has shown my work to somebody who works in Warner Archive and like what they've seen. But it's all a question of money, and are they willing to spend the money to restore it? If they put the whole film on a hard drive, I could do it all from home. With the reputation of Superman 4 being so negative, what would you say to those who might be of the sentiment that it's not a salvageable movie or something that's worth going after? Aaron Price, that's a good question. I probably would say because the film can be improved. It's never going to be on the same level as the first two films. You're always going to have that canon budget style of film still there. But I see the potential of putting this film on the same level as Superman 3, which isn't bad, by the way, in terms of visually. If the film could be improved a few levels up on the visual standpoint, the film would look a lot better. It would be a better presentation. You could watch the film without it feeling like a canon film like. This isn't a film that was done with a $17 million budget. This looks like a film that was done with more with 25 million or maybe 30 million. One of the things I don't want to do is modern restoration, like a Star Wars type of restoration with modern CGI over old footage. I want the new effects to blend in with the time period of the era of the film, and that is very important in terms of you could sit down and watch the film and think that works, that fits with the film. It doesn't stand out. It blends in with the time period of 1987. I would say I see the potential that this could be made into a better film. I've had a lot of feedback and comments of people saying, "Oh, this looks a lot better than the original scene." And the fans have really kept me going for this because the feedback I've had has been incredible. People have said, "You fixed this scene." I don't truly believe you can fix Superman 4. You can't fix what's been filmed, but you can improve what has been filmed to make it look a lot better with its presentation, improve the film's visual finesse. Also, I wanted to do a quick shout out to my friend Jim Bowers of CakeWonder.com, who is doing a Christopher Reeve Legacy event at MotorCon in Detroit from May the 13th, 15th. There's going to be quite a number of guests from the Superman films, such as Sarah Douglas, who's Ursa, of course, who played Ursa, Jack O'Halloran, who played Non, Mark McClaw, who played Jimmy Olsen, the baby Clark Kent, Aaron Spolinski, Mark Pillow, who played Nuclear Man, Mariel Hemingway, who played Lucy Warfield, and the writer and penciler of the recent Superman 78 comics, Robert Venditti. Now, the Superman 78 comics are something I seriously want to see adapted in live action, and I want Brandon Routh to do it. I think this is what they should do with Brandon Routh, not the other shit on the Arrowverse and Crisis on Infinite Earths, which they did, not that. I think they should adapt Superman 78 and cast Brandon Routh as that Christopher Reeve Superman, because after all, that's what he is. That's what I'd love to see. And with Fredo Torres, if you're near MotorCon, it's worth going to and supporting it. And it will also be helping the Christopher Reeve and Dana Reeve Foundation as well, one of the best causes out there. So that is actually a brilliant article. Longer than I thought it was going to be because I didn't proofread it. I never proofread stuff. Basically, I can't be bothered. If the headline looks good, I'm going to read it because I want to update you guys and educate you guys as well. Because I know you're big DC fans, not just of the DCEU, but things from the past as well. I support, I forgot his surname now, but I support what Aaron is attempting to do. He's trying to clean a film up. As Aaron says, the Superman 4 Quest for Peace story is pretty good. The villain, Lex Luthor, played by Gene Hackman, is pretty bland and ordinary and pretty much what we saw in the first two movies, but still great to see him. I love John Cryer's Lenny. I think he's fucking hilarious. He works. I would like to see the full vision of this film. I'd love it to be done professionally, and if Aaron could do it, I'd love to see the deleted scenes. This film should have had those scenes in them. They should have polished it up. But just like Canon did with Masters of the Universe and everything they touched, they always ran out of money. In the end, the director, Gary Goddard, I think it was Gary Goddard who directed Masters of the Universe, put his hands in his own pockets to get that film finished, or Masters of the Universe would never have been. It would never have happened. It was a different era of making films, daring do, past, aggressively ambitious people like Canon and the Salkinds trying to make films on the Never Never. They just about got away with it, the Salkinds, but unfortunately, in terms of canon, it didn't end up very well. I still appreciate Superman 4. I appreciate its sentiment. I appreciate when Superman is talking to the UN. It breaks my heart. What's he going to say? Something wonderful. That's who fucking Superman is. And as much as I appreciate Henry's Superman and appreciate what Zach did, he does have a misunderstanding of Superman. And it's not really a kind of Superman, as much as people love Henry, that people were ready for or people necessarily wanted to see. And this is why Christopher Reeve's Superman is still celebrated. So before I go, let's read the rest of the comments. JDT SB, hi guys. Ronnie Dodge, morning mate. Good morning, Ronnie. Abraham Herrera, and to think that with the small budget Superman 4 had back then, you could do things 20 times better and cheaper in terms of CGI. So back in 1987, there was probably we're in the early stages of CGI, very early. You'll see if actually there's a very groundbreaking piece of VFX in the actual theatrical release of Superman 4, and I've mentioned this before on this channel. When Nuclear Man steps on the floor, there's like this nuclear footprint. I think it's fucking amazing. And to this day, it's one of the best things I've ever seen. They did try, bless them, but they run out of money. And there's a film there. You know, it's not the best directed film, the best looking film, but Aaron, I've seen his work, could do something amazing. For me, this is the kind of stuff that I want to talk about on my channel. Of course, I want to keep you updated with the modern DC live action, the DCEU, and what's going on with the rest of it. But now and again, when it's a slow news day, I think it's okay to talk about things like that. And I'd love to get your perspective on tonight's Movies TV Mad Live. Who knows what news will break and for us to feed off of tonight on Movies TV Mad Live. So sometime this evening, UK time, maybe 6 p.m, 8 p.m, something like that. Anyway, something like that, I'll be here for Movies TV Mad Live. So I will see you then. So don't miss it. Be there, be square. This has been Friday's edition of the DCEU Daily with me, Mick, your host with the most. Just ask your girlfriends and your wives, they'll attest how good I am. Anyway, please like, share, comment, subscribe, hit the notification bell so you don't miss this beautiful perfection. And I will see you again, as I've already said, in tonight's Movies TV Mad Live. So until we see each other again, goodbye, au revoir, auf Wiedersehen. See you tonight. Have a lovely day.